Hey everybody, this is Vril. Welcome back to Extended Timeline New World Order. So in the last episode we had more wars with China. We now had Russia going into China, taking over a lot of the bordering provinces. Russia now borders with North Korea, so China is mostly just rebuilding itself. I'm guessing that they want to retake their former territories. Over here in Central America we had Mexico going into Guatemala and continuing into Panama. So they didn't take as much of Panama as I thought they would, but I'm sure they're going to continue. We had Peru cutting down Argentina. We had Brazil going into Uruguay. Then we had Peru and Brazil both going into Bolivia, splitting that amongst themselves. Over in Africa, we had Burkina Faso and the Ivory Coast against Mali and Ghana, and they took quite a bit of that for themselves. We had Niger versus Nigeria, and Niger cut down Nigeria, releasing Gabon, Congo, Nupe here. We had Chad being broken back down. They were quite large previously, and actually Sudan is back as a nation as well. Over in the Middle East, we had, well, I'm not sure if it's the Middle East really anymore, but we had the Iranians going into Kyrgyzstan, so they captured that. Over in Europe, one of the only non-EU nations, Germany took over Switzerland, leaving them with one province. They had some rebel issues at one point. Now, looking at the armies of the world, we have the US still on top, no wars that they've fought so far, followed by India moving in this number 2, Russia, Germany, and China trying to rebuild itself. So, looking at the wars that we have going on, we have a Russian-Belarusian nationalist war. Russia actually losing this war, but I think they're going to come back in this episode. We have Uganda, Congolese nationalist war, Uganda, Kenya, Central Africa, Zambia against Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Nigeria. We have Equatorial Guinea and Angola versus Gabon, and again, Democratic Republic of Congo. We have Guyana against Suriname over there in South America. So let's go ahead, get things started. I want to focus on this Russian war. I mean, they have a ton of units, somewhere anyway. I mean, a lot of them we've discussed in the last episode have to be over here, but we just looked at those military units, and they've got to be combined somewhere on here. It has to be a pretty good situation. I thought they were sieging back Moscow. I'm talking about the Russians were sieging back Moscow here and Ryazan, but that doesn't look like it's happening at the moment. They are down. We have another war. Yeah, we have a second Peruvian Colombian nationalist war also going down. Quickly head on over there. Yes, so I would say that Peru is going to easily be able to win this one, but again, they're declaring war without any armies on the border there. Guyana and Suriname here. Pretty even battle. Who else do we have? Yeah, we had this mess of a war with Congo, at war with like everybody. Angola looks like they are ready to go, going into Congo there. I'd be surprised if somebody tries to take advantage of them and cut them down to size at some point in time. But yeah, I'm up here in Europe. We'll see what Ukraine and Belarus takes from Russia. Okay, I was going to say, did they lose the battle? It doesn't look like Ukraine still has that. We have Austria and Belarus together. Austria has pretty good leaders. The Russians here, there's a 2-star there, but for the most part, from what I've seen, it's mostly a bunch of 1-stars. They have some Turkish rebels here. Turkey not doing anything yet. Do think we had quite a few new nations possibly joining the EU here. Basically everything other than Yugoslavia. Switzerland doesn't exist, so these need to be added to the EU territory. Germany needs to do that. I guess they could even add Belarus and maybe even end here at this point. I wonder if the rules would allow for Azerbaijan and Armenia to join the European Union. I mean, when we start getting over here with the Ukraine joining it, I would think anything kind of goes anymore. I'm sure that's a hot-button political issue, but that is what it seems like. these days. So yeah, that's a mess in the Democratic Republic of Congo here. I think they're going to be losing some territory. Looks like we'll have to check that Suriname war, Uganda. Yeah, this is just quite kind of a mess here. That war score over Belarus is down to a negative 59. I thought this war had ended. Okay, no, it was still on there. Okay. Russians... They organize anything? They do have some fleets in the Black Sea, at least. I'm sure Azerbaijan and Armenia are pretty happy that the Russians are in this situation, because I'm sure if they had not had this war, that the Russians might be looking into taking that territory for themselves. Very interesting here. We have another Ivory Coast war as well. Going into Guinea this time, and Liberia. See what this war score is for the Russians. Actually, it's flipped a little bit. It looks like, yeah, because the Russians have sieged back Moscow, so they're running away. They have no leader on this 51k stack, so... The Belarus has a 62k with a 2-star general. These guys are very strong, Ukraine and Belarus, and obviously having the help of Austria is really helping that, because Austria has a pretty good leader there. Let's see if anything else. We're waiting for our American war. We've got Venezuela and Colombia. Let's quickly head on over there and see. Colombia is gone. Venezuela is trying to take, and they just did, the one province that Colombia had left. So Peru bordering, we might get Peru's, yeah, very long there. Might get Peru going into Panama unless they haven't allied. Have they allied with anybody whatsoever? No. Just looking here. Sometimes we had the Brazil ally with France, so I'm not seeing anything like that happening. Chile, Paraguay, all these have allied with... Ah, here we go. We've got a American war against Mexico, so it finally happened. I'm sure we're going to have a bunch of comments about walls and things like that. So, Slovenian-Russian punitive war. Here is... Wow, wow, wow. That is a big one. So yeah, I would expect the Mexicans to lose this war, although they're beating the Americans there. Americans, yeah, okay. So yeah, we've got a huge war with the Russians. Look at this. The almost entire European Union is at war with the Russians. What did they do? Oh, well, they did have... That's aggressive expansion all the way on the other side of the world. So... Some of these punitive wars, I'm a little confused why they're firing off. I would have thought that they'd be for... Okay, here we go. We've got Ukraine, Belarus just took some territory. Did they take... they're bordering Moscow. I thought I was going to say, did they take Moscow? I could not imagine that they would. So Ukraine got some of their territory that they had claims on. We've got Georgia is back. We have Circassia. Might be mispronouncing that, but yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, punitive war. This one's very, very cool. So that's what I wanted to see. Vietnamese reconquest against Annam, which is one of these new nations that was created. So yeah, let's look over. Okay, we've got, again, the Mexicans are beating the Americans here. And here as well. Almost. I think it's going to be a close one. Wow. We've got Canada coming in to help the Americans there. Okay, I'm actually getting a little bit of slowdown. We've got a lot going on. Let me quickly head on over to Europe and see what's going on here. Yeah, the Germans are pretty strong. They were in the, I think they were in the top 5 still of militaries, and the Russians are obviously kind of up against it here because of that last war. Americans are somehow have the war score. Yeah, they've got a huge navy, so the blockades are operating. It's too bad. That would be pretty amazing if the Mexicans. They should have, being that the Mexicans were actually at war so far in this, but it looks like the Americans have won. Yeah, they're starting to siege out. But the Mexicans here did surprise me. Here they go. I mean, assuming that they're about the same tech level and everything, 90s, 91s. I know that China, we'll have to check over there. They might be winning that battle there. I'm pretty sure that this is kind of clear what's going on here at this point, unfortunately. Head on over here, let's see if anything else. I just wanted to show we've got some different tech groups. Not everybody's westernized still, so Turkey is westernized, I believe, though. I think there was a lot of talk about Turkey being not still Anatolian tech group at one point in time in the extended timeline, and it looks like they finally changed that. Germans just won a pretty big battle against the Russians there. It was like hundreds of thousands of units there. Slovenia is the one like leading the charge here. They're the ones that declared the war, so the territory is all being grabbed by them. This fact that Georgia is back and Circassia, Azerbaijan, Armenia, I wonder if Turkey could see that as a reason to head on to the Caucasus area here. Yeah, the Russians seem kind of scattered here, so this Guyanese war is still going on. I just wanted to quickly look here. So Russians still have a lot of manpower, though. So Ukraine and Belarus are not in this war, though. It'd be pretty useful if they were. That could have really turned the tide for them. But I do think that basically all the EU nations do have pretty large armies. Got some Russian 2-stars here. Got Albania fighting off and winning against the Russians. French units. What is even going to happen here when they win this war with this punitive war? They might release more nations, but I don't even know what they would release. Are they going to release like Novgorod or something like that? Or are they going to give some territory to Finland? We'll see. Okay, the Americans finished off this war and they took over a substantial chunk of Mexico. Substantial, so I mean, we assume that's what was going to happen, but can't believe that one's still going on. Peru needs to go into Panama, although, yeah, I guess the Peru could border with the Mexico and be okay. So we just had this war end. What actually happened? Did Okay, we do have, not even sure how to pronounce this one. Gazi Kamuk. Something like that. Maybe something else. Zunghar might be back. Yeah, China got its territory back. So the EU nations would go to war with Russia to give territory back to China. That makes a whole lot of sense, doesn't it? We've got a Malaya, sorry, not Malaya. Change of government in Cambodia. We know how that goes. That's just going to be a we take your territory Cambodia war. We change your government, take your territory. Cambodia has no help. So let me just check. We were talking tech levels here. Asian tech groups. All the way to I'm surprised that the Japanese would be Asian tech group. Yeah, that's very surprising. Since the Japanese at this point in time were a pretty major technological power, so that's a weird design decision. Laotian reconquest. Laos against Cambodia. So Malaya just took over all of Cambodia other than this one province, and now Laos is trying to take it. And yeah, Vietnam had won this war against, what were they even called? Like Annam? Something like that? It's like a new nation that broke off from Myanmar, probably broke it off from Vietnam. So yeah, we actually are at a very calm period here. Laos just won that war. We've got a Kyrgyzstan-Yarkand war, Kyrgyzstan-Mongolia, so let's head on up there. Where was it? Kyrgyzstan? There we are. Okay. Yarkand, that'll be even one. Move our speed up since we only have this going on up to 4. Anything else we wanted to look at? Government types, the Chinese are still socialist, so that's Belarus socialist, Yugoslavia. So yeah, Belarus looking at imperial. Yeah, the Germans are imperializing the Swiss areas. So I wonder if that's like a requirement to getting into the EU, is that you can't be the socialist states anymore. USA needs to core up these Mexican provinces here. We'll see in the World War II series the Mexicans have tried to escape to Cuba. We have, as I guessed, a Turkish-Georgian imperialist war, Turkey and Saudi Arabia against Georgia and Iran, actually, so that's a good one. Let me bring our speed back down to 3. Have a look here. So, Saudis. Not that the Saudis were actually allied with Iran, but maybe I'm thinking World War II series. Turkey always has a very, very large army because of some of their national ideas give like the quantity of their army, so it's always good for them. But with that said, we didn't really see them being too aggressive and taking much territory. Iran is quite strong. If this had happened earlier in the series, I think it would have been pretty good for the Turks, but it's interesting that Georgia would even ally with Iran there. I'd say that Turkmenistan, once this truce timer with the Iran is over, they'll be swallowed up. Yeah, this is the only thing that's going on right now, but it is a good one. Iran, Turkey, Saudi Arabia. Surprised that Mongolia is now warring with Dzungar again. That's what happened immediately. Turks are allied with Ukraine too, so I mean they're not in this war. Okay, we have a Syrian-Iraqi nationalist war. Syria with Cyprus, Egypt, Palestine against Iraq. So Iraq is allied with Israel. Makes a lot of sense. And this is mind you, this is communist Iraq is allied with Israel. So the world has gone crazy, as I've said many times in the series. What a mess of Turkish forces here. It looks like the Iranians are pretty good. Are the Saudis actually blocked from getting into Iran here? They don't have, or maybe they just don't have much of an army. They're focused on down here. The Egyptians... going into Israel here. This could be bad for Israel. Ethiopian, Egyptian, we've got another war with Egypt here, so Egypt's kind of got this on multiple fronts now. Got it on their southern flank as well as their eastern flank as well. Cyprus, okay, I was going to say Cyprus has a huge army, but that's because of Egypt. Have they sieged out all of Israel? It looks like they have. Where's that war score at? Syrian-Iraqi nationalist war. Syria is going to take all of Israel. It looks like that's who it is, not the Egyptians. We'll see. Maybe they'll split it up. Syria there. We've got the Turks. Yeah, those quantity ideas for your military do not work past the Ottoman era, unfortunately, for the Turks there. Just not too good for them. You need quality ideas, although I think they have something like German training for their military, some German ideas, so that their military should be trained better, even though they have quantity. Alright, coming up on December of 2015, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit the like button, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.